Hello, coaches. My name is Tracy Granata, and today's lesson is all on following up like a boss. So, within the lesson today, we're going to cover 4 P's to help you learn to follow up like a boss and feel good about it. Because we all know that the fortune is certainly in the follow up, and we want to make sure that this is a consistent behavior that happens always in our business, whether we're following up with customers or following up with coaches. So, the 4 P's to following up are being positive. All right. So, positivity, being persistent, being patient, and having a plan. All right. So, we're going to cover positivity, persistency, patience, and plan. All right. We know that the fortune in this business is in that follow up, and these 4 P's will certainly help you feel more confident when you go to follow up with those coaches and the customers who you may not have heard back from or who said, hey, check in with me again in a month. All right. So the first one we're going to cover is being positive in our follow up. So when following up, end the conversation on a positive note. So, for example, thank you for sharing your personal information with me. I'm sorry to hear that right now isn't the right time. However, I would love to stay friends with you. And I would love seeing people like you in my news feed who are happy and positive. You inspire me. All right. So, just a simple conversation like that, ending the conversation with them on a positive note, it creates trust, it's creating friendship. Um, and we all know that this business is certainly built on trust and friendship, but it's also, showing them that, hey, I love seeing you. You're a positive person. I'm also a positive person. And let's keep it that way. Like, no hurt feelings. Uh, and then as you follow up with the person or as you end the conversation, just sharing something with them that says, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you again in about a month? When my next challenge group happens, or do you mind, me following up in another month because maybe in the next month, the timing might be better for you. All right. So it lets them know that, hey, you still want to remain friends with them, but hey, you still really believe in them and you believe that this opportunity might be something good for them that could change their life. So it's building that trust, it's building that friendship, and it's being positive. All right. And then also asking them, hey, what is the best way for me to follow up with you? Do you prefer email? Do you prefer Facebook? Do you prefer text message? And letting them know, hey, when I do follow up, what's the best way to still communicate with you? Because maybe this isn't their preferred method, but when you do, what is that preferred method for them? Whew! So be positive. All right. Be positive in your nature, in the follow up, and in your conversations with them. And in the meantime, too, with, when you're not following up with them, you say, hey, I like seeing positive people in my newsfeed. You are a positive inspiration for me. Ah, so that means if it's their birthday, say happy birthday to them. All right. It's showing them that you care. Comment on their posts and interact with them on a regular basis. It's showing them that you certainly care about them as a person and you're going to care about them, in the future if they decide to work with you in any way, shape, or form. All right. Do it often. It shows that you are also a positive person and that you care. Number 2, be persistent. All right, persistency. So persistency is key and it doesn't have to mean that you are a pest. And by this that I mean a lot of times we fear rejection, we fear that we're being too salesy as coaches and we're afraid to just be persistent and afraid to just keep in touch with people. All right, we don't want to be annoying and so we are afraid of that. But if you follow up correctly and follow up with positivity and with integrity and you know with that relationship that you've already built with them, all right, you're not going to be a pest. You're just going to be a person that cares about them. You're going to be that coach who's known for caring about those people. So just being persistent about it. And how you can do that is when you follow up with them or when you are just being persistent and you're sharing with them, and you're commenting on their posts, add value to them. All right. Add value to the conversation. So if someone has said, yeah, follow up with me in the next month, and it's a person that maybe said, they, want to lose 10 pounds. All right. So follow up with them and be persistent by adding value in a way that says, hey, I saw this recipe for clean eating, and I thought it might be something that you like. I know you said your children are picky eaters. This is a recipe that I have found that my kids really enjoy, and it's a great way for us to have a family meal where I'm not cooking more than one dinner for the family, but I found it works for me, it works for my family, and I thought of you. Have you thought, more about my upcoming challenge group? My next group is going to be, all about packing healthy lunches for my four kids. All right. And I think that it might be something that you would be interested in, creating healthy recipes for your family that can be carried over into packing healthy lunches for kids. What do you think? This recipe that I'm sending you is also a great one. All right. So it's showing them that you care. It's adding value to conversations that you've already had. You're being persistent in the follow up. Um, and yeah, it's adding value. So how cool is that? So doing this, once every 2 weeks or once a month just shows that, hey, you're still on my radar. I still care about you. And that's what matters. You're still building that relationship with them. And of course, like I said, adding value. All right. So no matter what the reason is for your follow up, whether it's a challenge group or just staying connected with that person, certainly add value. Compliment them, comment on an experience that they've had, give them recipes, send them a happiness or a positivity quote. Just look for ways to add value, but still be persistent and still show them that you care. All right. You don't want your follow up to be, transactional driven. And I think that that's what a lot of us fear, or that's what a lot of us are afraid of. And it doesn't have to be like that if you can set good intentions on that follow up, being persistent, but also adding value with that persistency. Cool. Number 3, be patient. All right. Having patience in your follow up. And what do I mean by that? I mean that are going to talk to people and, now just, might not be the right time in their life. All right. For a lot of you, when before you joined, you might have said no quite a few times before, you finally said yes. But that coach who invited you was also persistent. All right. But they were also patient with you. You don't want to catch somebody when the timing is right, even though deep down we know that the timing might not ever be right. All right. And that success might not ever be convenient. But you've got to be patient, all right? You're going to talk to people and it's going to be the wrong time in their life. And so now just isn't the right time. But if we are just patient with them, eventually it's going to be the right time. If people are on your dream list to be in a challenge group with you, or they're on your dream board for coaching, all right, just be patient with them, because the timing will eventually be right. Even like I said, even though we know that the timing's never going to be right, we're always going to have an excuse, or we're always going to say we're too busy. We need for them to also believe that. And by being patient, it just means that you are not, it's not, something urgent for them, that it's being patient, and that, when the timing is right for that person, it'll certainly happen. And so with this one, one thing that I like to say about having patience is that, with challengers, a lot of or even, coaches, a lot of times, they say, hey, I'm too busy right now, or, oh, I just don't have enough time. Uh, but, one thing that I like to do is share success stories from my current challenge groups with people who have said no in the past. So when I'm following up with somebody, I might just say, hey, Sue, I wanted you to check out this recent success story in a challenge group of mine. This is a mom of 4 who also struggled with time, who also said she was too busy, didn't have the time to work out, didn't have time to work her business. But hey, look at what has happened with her in 30 minutes a day. Look at the results that she has seen. And share with them before and after pictures of a challenger that's, had success with you, working out 30 minutes a day, cleaning up their nutrition. It's a mom of 4 kids who also maybe works full time. It's someone who's relatable. All right. So when you have success stories of people who are relatable with you, share them with people who have had some sort of objection or hesitation, because the timing might be right. You've been patient, but you're just saying, hey, check out this success story. Stories are what sell. Remember that? Stories are what sell. And so you want to make sure that you're certainly sharing those and being patient at the same time, but it might be something that just clicks with them at that particular moment in their life. So those success stories might be the perfect opportunity. Yes, you've been patient, but you also want to share with them. So I hope that one makes sense. Then you can say, at the end of that, hey, I've got some groups open in my next challenge group. We're going to still be working out 30 minutes a day. And I'm also going to be working with other moms or other dads or full-time working moms or full-time working parents. What do you think? Do you think that you might want to do it in the next month? We've got a little bit of time, but do you think this might be something that you're ready for now? All right. And you can throw that in just as a little follow up action in your message of sending them that success story. So have patience. All right. Be patient with that person. Like I said, the timing might never be right. And we know that. But if you have patience and the timing wasn't right for them now, it might be right for them at a later date when you follow up. All right, the fourth P in this is plan, having a plan. So when I reach out to somebody, I always have a follow-up plan. So there's something that triggers my follow-up. So I write down a little bit about the person always in my, method or my system for my follow-up. So I, write down, where I met them, maybe what it is I'm reaching out to them about, what did they say at the end of a follow-up email? Maybe they said, hey, can you follow up with me again in the next month? But I have a certain follow-up trigger that I go back to and when I look at my list. So I have a plan that I go off of. And for some of us, Beachbody has great tools in our back office. So they have the customer follow-up tracker. They have coach follow-up trackers from the back office. So there might be something on there that just triggers that follow-up at that particular moment. And it helps you just become more efficient and more effective in your follow-ups. But then also, there might be things out there too, in your planning process, such, as a system that maybe you invested in, or there's also free systems out there. So follow-up systems for your business and planning purposes might be something like Teamzy. I know several coaches in Team Rockstar Fit use Teamzy, and that's something that you can pay per month. You can get a 30-day free trial with it, but it's also something that you can pay per month. And Ashley Mahaffey, one of the Star Diamond coaches on the team, actually, if you put in her email address, if you're something that you want to invest in, you've done the 30-day free trial and you put in her email address, which is actually thefitwin@gmail.com. So thefitwin@gmail.com, you can actually save. It's kind of like a little referral code or referral email address to save a few dollars. But Teamzy helps you come up with a tracking system for your follow-ups, for customers, for coaches, for people that you are connecting with. So Teamzy might be one way. A lot of coaches also use a tool called Streak. And this is a free tool offered to you through Gmail, but Streak, it works. It's, like I said, a free tool. And it's, another great tool and tracking system for you to follow up. So it's all about finding the method that works for you. I know initially when I was working, when I first started off as a coach, I was using an Excel spreadsheet. In the Excel spreadsheet, I could sort it. I could sort people by the date of last conversation. I could sort it by maybe where I connected with that person and what I connected with them on. So just find a system that works for you and have a plan, have an intention, and have a plan to, follow up like a boss and figure out, like I said, what's the best way for you to work those follow-ups. It might be the follow-up trackers that Team Beachbody has put out there for us in our back office, but it also might be a tool that you're investing in. Maybe it's, like I said, it's Streak, maybe it's Teamzy, but find what works for you. Use the tool, use the system that works for you, and follow up like a boss because you have a plan in place. All right, so that is what I have for you on following up and following up like a boss. Use those 4 P's in your follow-up. Be positive, be persistent, be patient, but have a plan. All right, we all know that if somebody says no to you right now, it might not be a no forever. it may take 4 times, it may take 8 times, it might take 10 times to follow up with somebody and to continuously just show that person that you care about them. But eventually it's going to come around. And the only way it's ever going to come around is if you follow up and you begin to believe that the fortune is in that follow up, and you continue to just follow up with somebody like a boss. So I hope that your follow ups remain positive, that you remain persistent, that you remain patient, and that you have a plan, because it matters. Those follow ups matter. So I'm going to post some links below in the files tab of this group, but also below in the daily post here for some follow-up trackers that might work for you. It might help spark an interest for you on how to create your own follow-ups, whether it's in an Excel spreadsheet or it's in something else like Streak or Teamsy. But let's use them. Let's be consistent in our follow-up, and let's show people that you care. All right, so follow up like a boss. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll check in with you in this group.